Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 19, text number 35. Api me Bhagavan Pritaha Krishna Pandu Sutta Priyaha Paitreshvaseya Prityartham Tadgotrasyatta Bandhavaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is very dear to the sons of King Pandu, has accepted me as one of those relatives just to please his great cousins and brothers. Purport. A pure and exclusive devotee of the Lord serves his family interest more dexterously than others who are attached to illusory family affairs. Generally, people are attached to family matters, and the whole economic impetus of human society is moving under the influence of family affection. Such deluded persons have no information that one can render better service to the family by becoming a devotee of the Lord. The Lord gives special protection to the family members and descendants of a devotee, even though such members are themselves non-devotees. Maharaj Prahlad was a great devotee of the Lord, but his father Hiranyakashipu was a great atheist and declared enemy of the Lord. But despite all this, Hiranyakashipu was awarded salvation due to his being the father of Maharaj Prahlad. The Lord is so kind that He gives all protection to the family members of His devotee, and thus the devotee has no need to bother about his family members, even if one leaves such family members aside to discharge devotional service. Maharaj Yudhishthira and his brothers were the sons of Kunti, the paternal aunt of Lord Krishna, and Maharaj Parikshit admits the patronage of Lord Krishna because of his being the only grandson of the great Pandavas. So in this verse, we are almost concluding this canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 19, the last few verses. Shukadev Goswami has appeared. So in this verse, Maharaj Parikshit is speaking about how Lord Krishna has accepted him, Maharaj Parikshit, as one of those relatives just to please his great cousins and brothers. He's feeling that, Maharaj Parikshit is feeling that he's been favored by Lord Krishna just because he is coming in the dynasty of the Pandavas. And so just to please the Pandavas, Lord Krishna has favored me, and this is my great fortune. We know Parikshit Maharaj. He's the son of Abhimanyu, who's the son of Arjuna. So the Pandavas are his grandfather, and all others are his grandparents. And so he's feeling very blessed that Lord Krishna has favored him by sending Shukadev Goswami and by making a situation where I can read the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he's feeling very pleased about it. Here in the purport, Prabhupada is writing very nicely, what happens if you become a devotee of the Lord? Generally, when we take up Krishna consciousness and we want to dedicate ourselves wholly and solely into the service of the Lord, people who do not understand Krishna consciousness, who do not have an understanding of who is God, what is spiritual life, they think that we are not taking the right step of dedicating ourselves solely for the service of the Lord. They think that as a human being, as a person, I have so many duties to be performed to my family members. I have to take care of my parents. I have to take care of my grandparents. I have to take care of so many things. And how is he leaving and just taking to Krishna consciousness completely, forgetting his family? Of course, that's not really the case, but people have a notion like this. So here, Prabhupada is writing that when a devotee fully surrenders himself to the Supreme Lord, he does better service to his family members than what he could have done by directly serving his family members. So, there are two ways to serve the family members. One way is not to take up Krishna consciousness and fully be busy serving them, taking care of them, earning from them, giving them different facilities. It's a duty. Because if I am a son, my parents served me, I must serve my parents, I must serve my children. It is natural. That is one way, exclusively devoted to the family members. But there is another way by which we can serve the family members even better. And how's that? By exclusively devoting yourself to the service of Krishna. Because this serving Krishna is actually our natural function. It's a natural function of the soul. And just like serving the family is a responsibility, it's a duty, but serving Krishna is a higher responsibility, is a higher duty. It is said, we live so many lives. How many lives have we? We have lived millions and millions of lives. Now in every life, we get father and mother, isn't it? Even as cats and dogs, we get father and mother. In every species, there is father and mother. But Guru and Krishna, we don't get in every species, not even in every human species. It is said, Janame janame shab, pita mata paye, Guru Krishna nahi mile, bhajo hari bhai. Every life, janame, pita mata, we'll get father and mother. But Guru Krishna nahi mile, Guru and Krishna, you will not get. And so bhajo Hari Bhai. So in this life, you are meant to serve Guru and Krishna. Now what? Because finally the goal of life, because parents are changing, family is changing. This family this life I am so attached to this family. Next life I'll be attached to another family. My attachment to this family is gone. I have forgotten them. And this is the cycle of birth, death, old age, disease in this material world. But the goal of life is not this. Goal of life, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Pitaham asya jagato, mata dhata pitamaha. Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, I am the father, Pitaham asya jagato, of the entire planet, of the entire world, of the entire creation. And I am also the mata, I am also the mother, I am also the dhata, the support. Pitamaha, I am also the grandfather. So Krishna is our eternal father, mother and everything. And the goal of human life is to connect with Him and go back to Him, because only by being with Him can we get real happiness, real knowledge. We have seen sufficiently, just by having a family doesn't guarantee happiness. No one can save us except Krishna. And now you may think, okay, it is said that we have to worship Krishna, I understand, but who will take care of my family? That is also a duty, maybe a duty of a lesser priority, but that is also a duty and it cannot be given up. So here in this purport, Prabhupada is saying, that duty of serving my father, mother and all my parents is better served by surrendering to Krishna, because that duty of well-being of the family members is taken care by Krishna directly. So instead of we taking care of something, imagine Krishna comes into that picture and Krishna says, you are busy serving me, I will ensure that your parents are happy. And the example that Prabhupada gives in this purport is that of Prahlad Maharaj. Hiranyakashipu was destined to go to hell. We know the whole story of Hiranyakashipu. What a big demon he was. He tried to kill his devoted son Prahlad Maharaj. And finally, Nrsimhadev came because Prahlad was a pure devotee. And Hiranyakashipu was killed. And then when Nrsimhadev asked Prahlad Maharaj, now ask for a benediction, ask for a boon. What did Prahlad Maharaj ask? Prahlad Maharaj says, I don't want anything for myself. But if you want to give me a benediction or boon, please excuse my father. So father, who would have gone to hell, is being saved not by God. Yes, he is being saved by God, but at the request of his son, who was a pure devotee, serving exclusively the Supreme Lord. And here also it is said that the Lord is so kind that He gives all protection to the family members of His devotees, and thus the devotee has no need to bother about his family members, even if one leaves the family members aside to discharge devotional service. So, this is the conviction and the faith that we must have. That if I take care of Krishna, Krishna will take care of everything that I need to take care of. When Prahlad asks his father, Nrsimhadev, to excuse his father, Nrsimha says, not only your father, 21 generations I am going to send them back to the spiritual world. Not just one generation. 3 sapta pita. 3 sapta means 3 into 7. 21 generations. You see the service? I can do my best service to my parents, To my grandparents, to my great-grandparents maximum, they may not even exist. But just by devotional service to the Lord, 21 generations of Prahlad Maharaj relieved, liberated. But now there are two important things here to keep in mind. If you take to devotional service, to whatever extent you take, to that extent, the parents, the forefathers, all will be taken care of in much greater proportion to than what you could have taken care directly. But if you want to liberate your parents, if you want to send them back to Godhead, then your devotional service must not be a casual devotional service. Prabhupada starts this purport with these two important words, which we must remember, and this is the resolve that we must make. I must do devotional service like this. And what is that? So Prabhupada starts his purport. A pure and exclusive devotee of the Lord serves his family interest more dexterously, means better, than others who are attached to illusory family affairs. So, this is the requirement, pure and exclusive devotion. And actually, if you see, all the scriptures, everywhere, this is what is being highlighted. The entire Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is talking not just about bhakti. Yes, bhakti is there. But Krishna is talking of this pure and exclusive devotion to Him only. Nothing else in my life matters. You take so many verses are there. Krishna says, Ananyāścintayanto māṁ ye jana paryupāsate tesham nityabhiyuktānām yogakshemam vahamyam. He starts off, Ananyāścinta. Anya means something else. Ananya means nothing else. Chintayanto mam, one who's just thinking of me and has nothing else to do. Not thinking of anything, not thinking of material thing, not thinking that who will protect me. I am there for his protection. He just has to think of me and nothing else. Ananyas chintayanto mam, when somebody is exclusively devoted to me like that, then Krishna promises, Yogakshemam Vahamyam. I will take care of everything that he needs. I will provide him everything. I will preserve all that he has. He needn't got to worry. In another place he says, Bhajate Mam Ananya Bhak. See another, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. Here he is saying, Bhajate Mam Ananya Bhak. Bhak means bhag ho gaya, divided. Ananya bhag means undivided. So bhajate mam ananya bhag means he is doing undivided devotional service to me. So like this, the last verse of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is also saying the same thing. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. So this is where sometimes we falter. Krishna is very clearly saying, Sarva dharman, give up everything. Mam ekam, only me. Ekam, this is called exclusive devotion service, and this is what is Prabhupada writing out, and this is what Parikshit Maharaj was doing. He sat exclusively, he wanted to surrender to Krishna. And we are so blessed. We have our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, who engaged in exclusive devotional service, who showed us the way, and he wanted all his devotees also to be engaged in this exclusive devotional service. So today is Sannyasa Smriti. Today is the day where Prabhupada took sannyasa. He was already engaged in exclusive devotional service, but he took the step, he took sannyasa to further engage in sannyasa means exclusive devotional service. And it's a coincidence that this verse is also talking about exclusive devotional service. So, how Srila Prabhupada, what are the incidences that led to Srila Prabhupada's complete dedication, complete surrender, finally accepting sannyasa? We have some write-up here. I will read it and then we can hear this. It was on today. It was actually on 7th September, but as per Tithi it is today. In the year 1959, that Srila Prabhupada took sannyas to wholeheartedly engage in the service of the Lord and more to preach. He was already engaged in the service of the Lord, but to preach the message of Bhagavatam all over the world, because of whose blessings and mercy we are today having this wonderful fruit of Krishna Bhakti. So we have collated certain text and material. I'll read it out to you. The incidences that led to Srila Prabhupada taking sannyasa. So these are the interactions with Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his spiritual master, during Srila Prabhupada's Grihastha days. So this is a recollection by Sripad Nayanananda Das Babaji Maharaj, who was a god brother of Srila Prabhupada. And he gave this recollection about Prabhupada. The year that our Guru Deva, which is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, organized and performed Gaur Mandal Parikrama, thousands and thousands of pilgrims assembled at our Champahati Mandira. There was a whole village of tents in all directions. On the afternoon of the last day, one of our god brothers had just arrived in Navadvipa, having returned from London by boat. He had gone to preach, but had returned without meeting with full success. In the evening, while Guru Maharaj was giving pravachan, he explained that it was his earnest desire that the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should be spread in the Western countries. He told how it was the vision of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur that this would happen. And it was also the last request of his mother, Srimati Bhagavati Devi, to him before she left this world. Consequently, he had been willing to take the lifeblood of the Gaudiya Math in funds, ready to spend any amount of money, to send his devotees there to preach. But so far, these attempts had been largely unsuccessful. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted exclusive preaching of this Krishna consciousness to happen all over the world, and he was ready to spend any amount of money for that because the message of Krishna consciousness is so important. Now, so there Bhaktisiddhanta is sitting, and Srila Prabhupada is also sitting in that association, and Nayanananda Das Babaji Maharaj is observing something. And this is what he observes. At this moment in his talk, while Bhaktisiddhanta is speaking, Prabhupada is sitting and hearing, I noticed that something very mysterious was happening. Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta, was looking out at large crowds of devotees, especially in the front, where all the sannyasis and brahmacharis in red cloth were sitting. Then he turned his head and looked over to his left side, where I was standing. Nayanananda Babaji Maharaj is standing. And he saw that Bhaktisiddhanta is looking very intently, very focused at someone and became silent for a long moment. So Nayananda Das Babaji Maharaj saw Bhaktivedanta is looking at someone. Who's that someone that he's looking at? Someone behind him. So Nayananda Das Babaji Maharaj looks behind him. Who's that person? And he clearly saw that the person with whom Bhaktisiddhanta was making eye contact was Abhay Charanaravinda Prabhu. I thought they were looking at each other in a very special way. He's not looking at anyone. So many disciples are there. He's looking at Prabhupada. Then Guru Maharaj again addressed the audience in front of him and he said, so he's saying that I wish to spend my lifeblood and funds for preaching. And then he said, because till now no success has been met, nobody has been successful. Then he said, but I have a prediction. However long in the future it may be, I predict that one of my disciples will cross the ocean and that devotee will bring back the whole world. Srila Prabhupada ki. I remembered this incident and Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami truly made it happen exactly in this way. Another excerpt about Srila Prabhupada, a very humble Grihastha Vaishnava. So Nayana Nanda Das Babaji Maharaj is recollecting, Abhay Prabhu behaved very humbly to everyone. Even though he was senior in many ways to most of the people who came later during those 11 years. Abhay Babu would always pay dandavats to others just because they had taken initiation first. Though he had made that devoted connection with our Gurudeva first, because 1922 Srila Prabhupada met, and then his initiation officially happened only in 1933. But still Srila Prabhupada was very, humble and very. So he is recollecting how Srila Prabhupada, although being much elder, but because his initiation was later, he would remain very simple and humble. Sometimes, when I was in Calcutta, I would visit him at Sitakant Banerjee Lane, where he had his home and chemical business. Nayananda Das Babaji Maharaj is replying. And some other devotees were accompanying him. And when I visited Abhay's house on Sitakanta Banerjee Lane, he was very affectionate to us. He always welcomed guests to his house. He opened his house to any Vaishnava from the Gaudiya Math, whether they were his godbrothers or young brahmacharis who weren't godbrothers and hadn't even been initiated. Next. That was his Grihastha life. Prabhupada was very humble. Next, Prabhupada's Vanaprastha life. Srila Prabhupada leaves home and becomes a Vanaprasthi. So this is from a recollection of a devotee, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, Hari Shauri Das. Hari Shauri Das writes, he is narrating, Prabhupada is saying, you know my story, tea or me? I guess all of you know this story. So Hari Shauri writes, no Srila Prabhupada, intrigued to hear more. So Prabhupada said, my wife, she was fond of drinking tea. So one day I told her, either you give up your tea drinking or you give up your husband. Okay, then I will give up my husband. Of course, she thought I was joking. Prabhupada continued, but a few days later, I left the house without telling anyone. I borrowed 10 rupees from a friend and bought a train ticket, and I never returned. Where did you go? Prabhupada says, I went somewhere, and he never saw his wife again. So we can see how Prabhupada was so surrendered, fully focused, and this is pure, exclusive devotion for Lord Krishna. Of course, we don't have to do this. For us, it is grihe thako, vane thako, sada hari bole dako. But we also, this is the point, have to be engaged exclusively in the service of the Lord. That is a must. Whether it's a grihastha, or a vanaprastha, or a brahmachari, or a sannyasi. Exclusive devotion. Krishna is saying, Ananyas chintayanto mam in the Bhagavad Gita. He is not addressing sannyasis. He is addressing everyone. But we see here in Prabhupada's life how he practically did it. Next, this is an incident where Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is urging Srila Prabhupada to take sannyas. This is an excerpt from Leelamrita, Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita, written by Satswarup Das. One night, Abhay had a striking dream. The same dream he had several times before during his days as a householder. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati appeared just as Abhay had known him, tall, scholarly sannyasi coming directly from the spiritual world, from Krishna's personal entourage. Bhaktisiddhanta calls Abhay in the dream and indicated that he should follow. Repeatedly, he called and motioned. So what should he follow? What was Bhaktisiddhanta telling him? He was asking Abhay to take sannyasa. Come, he urged, become a sannyasi. Abhay awoke. He woke up from his sleep in a state of wonder. He thought of this instruction as another feature of the original instruction of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. What was the original instruction of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta? Abhay, you must preach to the English-speaking world. So he thought that sannyasa that Prabhupada was being ordered to take by Bhaktisiddhanta was to meet that purpose. Because in sannyasi, preaching becomes even easier. So he thought, sannyasa, Bhaktisiddhanta is telling me to take so that I can carry out that instruction of preaching to the whole world, traveling everywhere more easily. Now take sannyasa and you will actually be able to accomplish this mission. Earlier, the time was not right. So Abhay deliberated cautiously. By accepting sannyasa, a Vaishnava dedicates his body, mind and words totally to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, renouncing all other engagements. Abhay was doing that already. Srila Siddhanta Saraswati had offered sannyasa to his leading disciples so that they could continue his mission. But they hadn't done it. They were unable to preach. Preaching in the West had proved perilous even for the Gaudiya Math's most recognized sannyasis. Then Abhay thought, how could I, a mere householder, a grihastha, presume he could succeed where others had failed, he was hesitant. The helpless, incapable feeling he had expressed in his Viraha Ashtaka was there. We read that song. But now his spiritual master was beckoning him over all other considerations, even over natural humility. Now, although Abhay was elderly and alone, the desire to preach, just as his spiritual master had preached, remained within him, a fierce thought, sometimes quietly expressed determination. The Vedic standard and the example set by the previous acharyas was that if one wanted to lead a preaching movement, sannyasa was required. That is how it was. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta had taken sannyas to facilitate his missionary work. Lord Chaitanya had taken sannyas to further the Sankirtan movement. Of course, Lord Chaitanya was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when his young students had been disrespectful towards him, treating him as an ordinary man, he had taken sannyas. Because a sannyasi is automatically respected, Lord Chaitanya's acceptance of sannyas was a calculated tactic. As soon as he began traveling throughout India as a sannyasi, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately attracted thousands of followers to the Sankirtana movement. So Abhay turned to Keshav Maharaj in Mathura. This is 1950, late 50s. And Keshav Maharaj told Abhay to take sannyas immediately. Bhakti Pragna Keshava Maharaj, who was a sannyas guru. After corresponding with Tirtha Maharaj, Abhay had felt some uncertainty about accepting sannyas. But now he was being encouraged so strongly. Keshav Maharaj was insistent, you must take sannyas and fulfill the desire of your spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada. I was sitting alone in Vrindavan writing. My god brother insisted to me, Bhaktivedanta Prabhu, you must do it. Without accepting the renounced order of life, nobody can become a preacher. So he insisted. Not he insisted, practically my spiritual master insisted. He wanted me to become a preacher. So he forced me through his god brother. You accept. So unwillingly I accepted. On October 21st, 1968, on the occasion of disappearance day of Srila Prabhupada's Sannyasa Guru, Bhakti Pragna Keshav Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada is recalling. So this is Srila Prabhupada's lecture in 1968. And he's giving this lecture in ISKCON, Seattle Temple. Srila Prabhupada. One has to accept the renounced order from another person who is in the renounced order. So I never thought that I shall accept this renounced order of life. In my family life, when I was in the midst of my wife and children, sometimes I was dreaming my spiritual master that he was calling me and I was following him. When my dream was over, I was thinking, oh, Guru Maharaj wants me to become sannyasi. I have to accept sannyasi. At that time, I had a family. So I had to give up my family and I had to become a sannyasi. At that time, I could not take it. Sometimes I was thinking, no, I cannot take sannyasa. But again, I saw the same dream. So in this way, I was fortunate. My Guru Maharaj Now Prabhupada's voice becomes heavy, it becomes choked. He's like crying. My Guru Maharaj pulled me out from this material life. I have not lost anything. My Guru Maharaj was so kind upon me. I have actually gained. I left 3 children, but now I have got 300 children. So, I am not loser. This is material conception. We think we shall be loser by accepting Krishna. Nobody is loser. I can say from my practical experience. Prabhupada writes in one lecture, when you surrender to Krishna, means you give up everything to Krishna, everything, your wealth, everything. You are not a loser, rather you gain 1,000,000 times. These are the exact words of Srila Prabhupada. And the story to prove it is that the fruit seller who came with a fruit basket and gave some few fruits to Krishna. In exchange, Krishna could not give anything. He was so small and Krishna just got a few grains in the hand. And he was, Krishna was thinking, oh, I can't get mangoes for the small grains. But because the fruit seller gave very happily her fruits to Krishna without expecting that Krishna will repay him back. And because she did that, she just surrendered to Krishna exclusively. Krishna transformed her basket of fruits with jewels, gold, diamond. So she was a gainer 1,000,000 times. So I was thinking, so I say from my practical experience, I was not a loser, I gained so much. So I retired from my family life. I was sitting alone in Vrindavan, writing books. So this, my god brother, he insisted me, Bhaktivedanta Prabhu. This title was given in my family life. It was offered to me by Vaishnava Society, Bhaktivedanta Prabhu. So he insisted me. Practically my spiritual master insisted me through him. You accept, because without accepting the renounced order of life, nobody can become a preacher. So he wanted me to become a preacher. So he forced me through this god brother. You accept. So unwillingly I accepted. And then I remembered that he wanted me to go to the Western country. So I am feeling now very much obliged to this god brother that he carried out the wish of my spiritual master and enforced me to accept this sannyas order. Prabhupada is thanking him. Now, the last part, Srila Prabhupada accepts sannyas. So we read his grihastha, his vanaprastha, now coming to his acceptance of sannyas. This is also from Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita. Keshavji Gaudiya Math was located in the midst of one of Mathura's downtown bazaars. It's in Mathura. Its main entrance, an arched doorway, led into a courtyard open to sky through a metal grating above. Abhay Babu entered the Gaudiya Math dressed in white, but he would soon be leaving dressed in saffron, a Swami. Abhay had been living as a renunciant for 9 years. There was no need for him to observe a ceremony or to proclaim himself a sadhu by changing to saffron dress. But it was the parampara system that a man take Tridandi Sannyasa at the end of his life. Abhay was aware of cheating sannyasis. Even in Vrindavan, he had seen so-called sadhus who did not preach but simply spent their days hunting for chapatis. Some swamis of Vrindavan even indulged illicitly in what they had supposedly come to Vrindavan to reject. sex life. Such persons were making a mockery of sannyas. And there were the caste Goswamis also, who lived like ordinary householders, running temples as business to support their families and accepting honor and donations from the public on the basis of false birth. Abhay knew all these abuses of sannyas, but he also knew the real purpose of sannyas. Sannyasi was for preaching. On the morning of September 17th, 1959, this was the day Prabhupada took sannyas, in the 50 by 25-foot DT room, small room, on the second floor of Keshavji's mutt, not a small room that way, a group of devotees sat before the deities of Radha Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. The deities were colorfully dressed in royal clothing and silver crowns. Abhay sat on a mat of kusha grass besides 90-year-old Sanatan, another devotee, who was also supposed to receive sannyasa that day. Sitting opposite the two candidates, Narayan Maharaj, Keshav Maharaj's disciple, prepared to conduct the ceremony of mantras and offerings of grain and ghee into the fire. Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji, Abhay's god brother, known for sweet singing, played mridanga and sang Vaishnav bhajans. Sitting on a raised asana, His Holiness Keshav Maharaj presided the sannyas ceremonies. Narayan Maharaj chanted the required mantras and then sat back silently while Keshav Maharaj lectured, the sannyasi lecture. Then, after Keshav Maharaj's lecture, to everyone's surprise, Keshav Maharaj asked Abhay to speak. Abhay had not expected this. As he looked around the gathering of devotees, he understood that the common language was Hindi. It was in Mathura. Only Keshav Maharaj and few others spoke English. Yet, Abhay knew he must speak in English. After Abhay's speech, each initiate received his sannyas danda, the traditional head-high staff made of 4 bamboos rods bound together and completely enwrapped in saffron cloth. They were given their sannyas garments. 1 piece of saffron cloth for a dhoti, 1 for a top piece, and 2 strips for underwear. They also received tulasi neck beads and the sannyas mantra. Keshav Maharaj said that Abhay would now be known as Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Prabhupada Sannyasa Divas ki. And the other devotee, Sanatan, would be called Muni Maharaj. And that's a photograph, the frame you see upstairs. Muni Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Swami, and in the center is seated his sannyas guru, Bhakti Pragna Keshav Maharaj. After the ceremony, the 2 new sannyasis posed for a photo, standing on either side of their sannyas guru who sat in a chair. Keshav Maharaj didn't impose any strictures on Abhay. He simply encouraged him to go on preaching. Yet, Abhay knew that to become A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami did not mean merely that he was giving up family, home comforts, and business. He had already done that 5 years ago. Changing from white to saffron, from Abhay Babu to Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj had a special significance. It was the mandate he had required, the irrevocable commitment. Now it was only a matter of time before Bhaktivedanta Swami would travel to the west as Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had ordained. This was Bhaktivedanta Swami's realization of his new sannyas status. The Gaudiya Patrika's account of the sannyas initiation included a biographical sketch of Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj listing the major events of his life. The article read, seeing his enthusiasm and ability to write articles in Hindi, English and Bengali, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj gave him the instruction to take Tridandi Sannyasi. For nearly 1 year, he had been ready to accept sannyas. In the month of Bhadra, on the day on which Vishwarupa accepted sannyas, Bhaktivedanta Swami at the Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math accepted sannyas from the founder of the Vedanta Samiti, Bhakti Pragna Keshav Maharaj. Seeing him accept his ashrama of renunciation, seeing this pastime for accepting the sannyas order of life, we have attained great affection and enthusiasm. This is what was published there. Just end in 3 minutes. Excerpts from Srila Prabhupada at Radha Damodar. After Srila Prabhupada took sannyas, Narayan Maharaj is saying, I would visit still Srila Prabhupada many times while he was staying in Radha Damodar temple between 1962 and 1964. One time I went there and he was sitting on the floor on a torn quilt. After sitting down on my chadar, we both discussed Srimad Bhagavatam. There was no bed in Srila Prabhupada's room. He was sleeping on the floor. Another occasion, some short anecdotes these are. Often, Narayan Maharaj is saying, often we would have kirtan in his room at Radha Damodar. Prabhupada played mridanga and I would play kartal. Bhaktivedanta Swami used to tell me how he was planning to go to America and Western countries. He said, I want to preach as Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati has ordered me, and I want to publish BTG in huge scale and preach in Western countries. If there will be need, I will establish boarding facilities for interesting people. And if they want, I will give meat also and eggs also and wine also. It's a very, on a different note, Prabhupada is saying this. I believe that after hearing Harinam Sankirtan and Shikshashtaka of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they will certainly reject all these things and surely they will become pure Vaishnavas. You can see Prabhupada's determination. This should be our determination. That even the lowest of the mankind who are meat, and that's what Prabhupada did. He converted all of them, meat eaters, intoxication, gambling, and all of them into devotees. Last one. In Nairobi, Srila Prabhupada demonstrated how a sannyasi should preach. For 1 month, he strictly followed Vedic tradition by staying only 3 days or less in the home of each of his Indian hosts. Then, although his host always provided him good food and comfortable accommodation, he would move on to the next place. This was the rule for sannyasis. Prabhupada said it kept them from becoming attached to bodily comforts and from inconveniencing their host. So, Srila Prabhupada ki. So we see here So these were the incidences, a wonderful, pastime of how Srila Prabhupada took sannyas, and that was for a purpose. And today we are so blessed that we have gotten this gift of Krishna consciousness, this most rare gift, because of Prabhupada's determination and dedication. And we saw how Prabhupada exclusively devoted himself. And then Prabhupada writes, I'll end with this one beautiful letter, wherein Prabhupada is saying that Prabhupada, he started with his disciples in the West, who were all Grihastha disciples. They were not even, some few brahmacharis and some Grihasthas. And here we see how, sannyasis are meant for preaching. But actually, as we know, Grihe Thako, Vane Thako, Sada Hari Bole Dako. So Prabhupada was so happy that his Grihastha devotees, Grihastha disciples are preaching so well. And Prabhupada took pride in this by stating, he wrote many letters to his Grihastha disciples, I am so happy that all my Grihastha disciples are preaching so well, just like a sannyasi should preach, my Grihastha disciples are preaching. And he writes a very nice letter. And if you know, the first center that was established outside America, first was New York, right? Then was San Francisco, and like that, different temples. The first center that was established outside of America was London. And you know who? Of course, it was Prabhupada who did it. It was his blessing and his spiritual potency. But you know whom did Prabhupada send to London, and how the London center got established? They got the Bhaktivedanta Manor. London center was a big success. You all know the Bhaktivedanta Manor. Prabhupada sent 3 Grihastha couples to establish the London center. And that's how the London center started. So we see here how Prabhupada took sannyas for completely devoting himself to preaching. And this exclusive surrender, any one of us can do by following in the footsteps of our Guru's instruction. So Srila Prabhupada has instructed us how we should preach, remain in our position, but this, being focused, making out some time and preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya will satisfy Krishna and will satisfy Guru. And if you simply satisfy Krishna and Guru, if you simply satisfy them, everyone will be satisfied. So today's verse also we saw this exclusive devotion. So you simply satisfy Krishna. It's just like you're watering the root of the tree. You don't have to worry about the entire tree. Don't have to worry about the fruits, the flowers. They are like, like family members. Don't have to worry. If you water the root, every part of the tree, no matter how large or big the tree is, every part of the tree will be satisfied. So Srila Prabhupada satisfied Krishna, and as he said, he gave up 3 children, but he got 300 children, and by the time he departed, he had 10,000 children, and now it is our duty to make the entire world Krishna conscious and surrender them to Srila Prabhupada. This is the responsibility that Prabhupada has left it with us. So we'll close here. Srila Prabhupada Sannyasa Smriti Sannyasa Divas ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.